Attention passionate Montreal, Canadiens fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the Atlantic Division and it could shake up the entire conference. We're talking about a direct impact on Montreal Canadiens' path to another Stanley Cup run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Montreal Canadiens fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Montreal, Canadiens fans. Let's get to the news now, fans. There's been a lot of buzz lately about the Canadiens and some interesting developments that might just reshape their roster and their outlook for the upcoming season. And honestly, it's one of those stories that keeps you on the edge of your seat because, well, it's about the Canadiens making strategic moves, changing their minds, and perhaps shifting their entire vision for the team. So, let's dive into what's been happening behind the scenes, what it means for Montreal, and how this could influence their chances of making a deep playoff run this year. Recently, there was a lot of speculation about Evgeny Kuznetsov, the Russian center who's been making waves in the NHL and who openly expressed interest in playing for the Canadiens. Kuznetsov, for those of you who might not be as familiar, has been a very productive player over the years, especially in the NHL. Last season, he played 81 games and scored 55 points, which, for a team that's been rebuilding and trying to find its footing, is nothing to scoff at. Prior to that, he recorded 37 points in 39 games in the KHL, showing that he's still a very talented scorer and playmaker. Naturally, the Canadiens, a team always looking to strengthen their core and add veteran talent, showed initial interest in Kuznetsov. And why wouldn't they? Having a center like him, especially someone who has already shown a willingness to come to Montreal and fits into their needs, seemed like a move that could really boost their lineup. But here's where it gets interesting. According to some recent reports and insights from the knowledgeable Marco D'Amico, the Canadiens initially had interest in Kuznetsov before July 1st. And make no mistake, they were genuinely considering bringing him in. The interest was there, and the management, led by Kent Hughes, was exploring options to make a deal happen. However, things took a turn once the Canadiens made some roster moves, particularly with the acquisition of Zachary Bolduc, their promising young prospect. Now Bolduc, who's been lighting up the prospect scene, was seen as a key piece for the team's future, and his addition seemed to shift the team's focus. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Montreal Canadiens news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And that's exactly what Marco D'Amico explained. After the Canadiens acquired Bolduc, the interest in Kuznetsov apparently diminished significantly. It's not just about the roster space or the cap, although those are obviously factors. It's more about strategic direction. With Bolduc's development prospects looking so promising, Montreal's management seemingly decided that investing in a younger player with high upside was more aligned with their long-term vision. So, they shifted gears, and Kuznetsov, who was once a very real candidate for the Canadiens, is now no longer on their radar. This kind of move makes a lot of sense when you think about the bigger picture. The Canadiens have been in a rebuilding phase for a few seasons now, trying to develop their young core and build a team that can compete consistently in the playoffs. Bolduc, who's just 20 years old, is seen as a potential future top 6 forward, and investing time and resources into his growth could pay dividends down the line. Bringing in Kuznetsov, who's 31, might have provided an immediate boost, but perhaps it would have complicated the team's future plans. Plus, with the recent addition of Joe Veleno, who's shown some promise in his first season with Montreal, the team is clearly trying to build a balanced, competitive roster that can grow together. Now, for those of you wondering about the big question, would Kuznetsov have been the second-line center if he had signed? Well, that's a good point. Considering the talent and experience he brings, it's entirely possible. But with the arrival of Bolduc, the team's focus seems to have shifted toward developing their younger players and giving them the ice time they need to grow. It's a classic case of the team opting for future potential over immediate impact, which in the long run might be the smarter move. Of course, this doesn't mean the Canadiens are closing the door completely on Kuznetsov. If he's willing to come to Montreal for a one-year deal, maybe at a modest price, say around $1 million, there's still a possibility that he could join the team at training camp and compete for a spot. But given the current roster makeup and the recent moves, it seems unlikely that Montreal will pursue him aggressively at this point. Instead, their focus appears to be on bolstering their younger core and ensuring that their development pipeline remains strong. And let's not forget, there's also been talk about other players like Nazem Kadri, who's currently available and who could fit Montreal's needs perfectly. Kadri, with his playoff experience, leadership qualities, and offensive skills, might be a more appealing target for the Canadiens right now. But even then, the team seems to be taking a cautious approach. They're weighing their options carefully and trying to strike a balance between adding veteran presence and fostering young talent. Now, some of you might be asking, what about the other rumors, like the possibility of Marc-Andre Fleury returning to Montreal? Well, that's another fascinating storyline. Fleury, after recently retiring as a Montreal native, has been linked to the team in various rumors, sparking hope among fans who remember his legendary performances and leadership. While nothing is confirmed yet, the possibility of adding a veteran goaltender with his experience could be a game-changer for the Canadiens' net. Samuel Montembeault has been working hard, and the team is evaluating their goaltending plans, but adding someone like Fleury could give them the stability and confidence they need in net, especially during crucial playoff moments. Speaking of the season ahead, Montreal is entering a pivotal year. They've made some significant roster adjustments, and the development of their prospects like Bolduc will be under the spotlight. Fans are eager to see if this core, now more experienced and more cohesive, can finally take that next step and contend for a playoff spot. The Atlantic Division is as competitive as ever, with teams like Boston, Tampa Bay, and Toronto always lurking at the top. So every move counts, and Montreal's management seems to be playing a careful game, trying to find that perfect balance between veteran grit and youthful energy. Looking at the bigger picture, it's clear that Montreal's strategy is shifting towards patience and long-term growth. They're not rushing to fill roster spots with big-name free agents just for the sake of it. Instead, they're crafting a team that can develop together, learn from each season, and hopefully reach their peak in the next few years. The departure from interest in Kuznetsov, after initial consideration, underscores this approach. It's about making smart, measured decisions that set the foundation for sustained success. And one thing is for sure, this team is full of potential. Players like Velino and Bolduc are developing, and the coaching staff seems committed to building a system that emphasizes skill, speed, and smart play. The fans, too, are excited to see how this all unfolds. Montreal has always been a team that values resilience, grit, and passion, and this season looks to be no different. If they can get solid goaltending, continue developing their young core, and maybe add a few veteran pieces, like a one-year deal for Kuznetsov if it makes sense, they could surprise a lot of people. So as we wait for the season to kick off, keep an eye on the Canadiens' roster moves, their draft picks, and their development pipeline. It's an exciting time for Montreal fans because the team is clearly in a phase of strategic rebuilding, aiming to come back stronger than ever. The story of Kuznetsov's potential interest and subsequent shift away from Montreal is just one chapter in a bigger narrative about patience, smart management, and the relentless pursuit of excellence. Fans, I know you're eager for wins, for deep playoff runs, and for that Stanley Cup. And while this offseason has been full of twists and turns, it's also a testament to how much thought and care the Canadiens are putting into their future. And now, Montreal Canadiens fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Montreal Canadiens. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Montreal Canadiens news. Whether it's roster moves, player performances, or insider rumors, we've got you covered. Thanks for riding along with us today, and as always, let's go Habs.